Thanks for staying with us. Welcome to the news at 5 on Channels Television. I'm Joke Rogers. The top stories this hour. As Osun State prepares for Saturday's governorship election, the Independent National Electoral Commission's office along Gbongan-Ibadan Road in Osogbo has become a beehive of activity with heightened security presence and election stakeholders present at the office ahead of the exercise. Our correspondent, Eitope Kutei, who is monitoring the situation in Osogbo, the state capital, spoke to INEC officials on the latest development ahead of tomorrow's poll.
We're here at the INEC headquarters along Gbongan-Ibadan Expressway in Osogbo, the Osun State capital. And it's a beehive of activities here at the INEC office. As you can see, we have large number of police officers waiting to be deployed to their respective places of assignment for tomorrow's governorship elections. And also we could see a lot of journalists, civil society groups here at the INEC headquarters. But to give us more sense on what is happening here, we'll be speaking to the HOD, Voter Education, Publicity, Gender and Inclusivity of INEC in Osun State, Mr. Rufus Ariyo. Just tell us what is happening here as the eve to the election.
What's happening now is a kind of top preparation for the election. And although as INEC, we have already deployed our men and materials to the local government. Yesterday, the sensitive material was deployed to the local government. Now, the security people you are seeing here, they are now waiting for their own deployment to their real local government. We are going to work tomorrow.
Okay, so can you just take us through the process for voting tomorrow, from the arrival at the polling unit to voting and waiting for counting?
A voter is expected to go to the polling unit with the PVC. Then tender the PVC at the polling unit. Then the name of such voter will be checked at the electronic voter register. When the name is found there, such a voter will be, we have to go through beavers, through capturing of fingerprints or facial capturing. After that, then ballot paper will be issued to such a voter. Now we enter into the voting cubicle and cast his vote. Although we are not experiencing any challenges, but nevertheless, where such challenges occur, I expect voters to exercise patience. At times, no impatience may normally cause apprehension. Let them be patient because every issue will be resolved in real time.
Okay, what about for voters that might have this fear that if they come out, they will be molested, they will be harassed and intimidated, and they wish to come out and discharge their civic responsibility tomorrow? So what message do you have for them?
This is an off-cycle election. So there are more than enough deployment of security personnel into this state. So at the polling unit tomorrow, there is no unit that will have less than 3 security personnel, apart from the security that will be patrolling. The minute that will be patrolling, because that they are not permitted to go to the polling units. So there can't be breach of peace anywhere. There will never be any breach of peace. So I want to encourage people to just come out and exercise their franchise tomorrow. On or before 7 a.m., all the men and material will have arrived at all the polling units. But election will not start until 8:30. So it means we are going to be the one waiting for voters tomorrow.
Okay. So finally, what message do you have for Osun voters?
I want to encourage people of Osun that they should come out en masse tomorrow, because I am sure the election is going to be peaceful. Because there are enough security officers in town, everywhere. So there can't be any breach of peace anywhere. And I want to encourage people not to engage in vote trading, because there are anti-graft agencies at the polling units. Whoever that is caught doing such will be apprehended. So let everybody come out in a peaceful manner and cast their vote and wait for the result. They should just come and cast their vote. They should not allow just few people to determine their destiny. The beauty of democracy is that you use your own hand to determine your destiny. Use your own hand to elect your own leader that you want. So let everybody, people, voter, Emma, let them come out tomorrow to cast their vote.
Thank you very much. Voter education, publicity, gender, and inclusivity, INEC Osun State, Mr. Rufus Ariyo speaking to us there, telling us more about what we need to know about the Osun State governorship elections tomorrow. Channels Television is on ground to bring you up to speed with every event as it unfolds regarding the Osun State governorship election now, during the election, and after the election. It's back to you in Lagos.
Thanks, Itope. Meanwhile, the European Union Support for Democratic Governance in Nigeria, EUSDGH, EOH, has raised concerns over INEC's recent introduction of an electronic form EC8A on the BVAS as part of the results validation process. The group says INEC has not clearly explained the contents of the electronic form or where the results are being transmitted. Addressing journalists in Osogbo on behalf of the group, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Women Trust Fund, Brenda Anugwam, said results transmitted from polling units do not appear immediately on the IRF platform. She adds that there is no public information on what's being checked or being validated during the process. The group has therefore appealed to INEC to ensure that election results can be fully traced through a transparent and verifiable result chain from the polling units to the final declaration.
Election Observation Hub is concerned by the introduction by INEC of an electoral EC8A on the BVAS as part of a validation step, without clearly stating where these results are transmitted to or what purpose they serve. Furthermore, the results transmitted from polling units do not appear immediately on the IRF as they pass through an unexplained back-end validation process before publication, with no public information on what is checked, who conducts the review, or how long it should take. This means that physical EC8A, the scanned image on the IRF, the copy retained on the BVAS, and the electronically transmitted EC8A may exist with no explicitly stated rule on which version prevails if they differ.
Elsewhere in the States, the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room, a coalition of 70 civil society organizations monitoring the August poll, has raised concerns over tensions ahead of the election, particularly the utterances of political actors and their supporters. The observers also expressed concern over the delayed arrival of sensitive electoral materials following the recent inclusion of the SDP candidate on the ballot. On security, the group urged the police and other agencies deployed for the election to act responsibly, professionally, and within the law. It also called for the prompt arrest and prosecution of electoral offenders involved in violence, other infractions, and vote buying. The observers further condemned political rivalry and violence, particularly between the Accord Party and the APC, stressing that elections should not be won through intimidation or violence. They urged voters across Osun State to participate fully in the election, reject violence, intimidation, and vote trading, and insist on the protection of their democratic rights.
The Situation Room has followed with concern the reports of politically motivated violence, crashes involving political actors and supporters, attacks and intimidation, tensions surrounding major motor parks and transport unions, allegations of political thuggery, death and arrest of political actors, and the increasingly hostile rhetoric among political parties and their supporters. Situation Room expects an improved administration and management of the year 2026 Osun State governorship election, especially as all eyes are on the conduct of the election. INEC sensitive materials are live in Osogbo at about 8:30 p.m. on Thursday, 13th August, due to reprinting of the ballot papers to include the candidate of Social Democratic Party. While this has potential to cause delays to early arrival of materials at the polling units on election day, if not managed carefully. Situation knows the heavy deployment of the military for this election and hopeful that the entire security machinery will conduct themselves responsibly and adhere to civil and responsible terms of engagement under the rule of law. Situation will further call on the police to document evidence of violence, infractions, and their perpetrators, and share this information with INEC in order to speedily bring offenders to book, no matter how highly placed.
President Bola Tinubu has called on the Independent National Electoral Commission and security agencies to ensure peaceful and transparent elections in Osun State. He also called on voters to come out and exercise their civic responsibility peacefully, assuring them of adequate security before, during, and after the poll. The president stated this in a statement, as he says, quote, "The people of Osun State, as they head to the polling units to elect who will govern them in the next 4 years, I call on the Independent National Electoral Commission to ensure orderly conduct of the election. The election must be transparent, free and fair. I urge INEC to ensure the integrity of the process. INEC must use this last off-cycle election as a test case to demonstrate to Nigerians their full preparedness for the 2027 polls. I have charged the Inspector General of Police and other heads of security outfits taking part in the election to provide maximum security at polling units. No room should be allowed for troublemakers to disrupt the process. Electoral officials and voters must also be protected so they can perform their civic duties without fear or intimidation." End of quote. When we come back on News at 5, the Securities and Exchange Commission orders the asset freeze of 9 terrorism financiers. That's in a moment. Please stay with us. Welcome back. In Lagos State, the government is taking further steps towards advancing its circular economy agenda with the stakeholders' engagement on the proposed development of a material recovery facilities in Badagry and Agboa. The aim is to transform the Lagos waste management system from a conventional collect and dispose model to one that treats waste as a resource and an avenue for wealth creation. Our correspondent Titilayo Aberewo reports.
Representatives of Badagry and Agbowa Ikorodu gather in Adeyemi Bello Auditorium, Alausa Ikeja, to meet with senior government officials from the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, the Lagos State Waste Management Authority, as well as the Lands Bureau to discuss the proposed establishment of material recovery facilities for Badagry and Ikorodu. The proposed material recovery facilities is a public-private partnership project, a strategy government believes to strengthen waste recovery and promote circular economy in Lagos State.
The flagship waste management improvement project is not just about building infrastructure. It is about creating a value chain to bring wealth and sustainability to our environment.
The Lagos State Waste Management Authority highlights the benefit of the recovery facilities for both communities.
We estimate about 5,000 direct and indirect jobs, and this is shared between the 2 locations. This project is going to support structured technical training, apprenticeships, certification linked to actual workforce needs.
While government continues to tackle the waste collection challenge that facing major parts of the state, the project partner explained that the facilities will bring about a modern enclosed facility that would properly manage waste in Lagos State.
The old dump sites will be closed. Odor is captured and controlled. Waste is handled in a sealed building.
Landowners in Ikorodu and Badagry are advised to support the initiative, with the state government assuring that all those affected by the project will be adequately compensated.
For Erekiti, I think it's about it's in two parts. That's 45, about 90 hectares, and for Agbowa, I think we have about 60 hectares or thereabout. You know, Mr. Governor is always particular about you making sure that the communities are well compensated for every land acquired for overriding public interest, and this is not going to be an exception.
This is waste to wealth, because the material recovery, when you say material recovery, those materials that we're recovering from the waste have a very high value in the market. There's a demand for those materials. So by doing that, we're going to ensure that we have somewhere to put all our waste. It's going to come, instead of on the road, it's going to be pulled into this controlled facility where we'll use this process and extract and sell. It's going to solve a lot of our problems.
Some of the traditional rulers in attendance assured government of their support. The Lagos State government says the enumeration of landed properties will commence as soon as possible in order to identify and facilitate compensation process for those whose properties may be impacted by the development of the material recovery facilities in Ikorodu and Badagry. Titilayo Aberewo, Channels Television News.
In Enugu State, Governor Peter Mba has undertaken a pre-launch tour of the Enugu International Hospital for an on-the-spot assessment of its infrastructure and equipment ahead of its official commissioning. The hospital is designed to cater to people across all socioeconomic classes while attracting top medical professionals from around the world, thereby positioning Enugu State as a medical tourism hub and reduce the number of Nigerians seeking specialist healthcare abroad. A new chapter in Enugu State's healthcare sector is taking shape as Governor Peter Mba undertakes a pre-launch tour of the Enugu International Hospital ahead of its official commissioning. Accompanied by the director of the facility and a team of specialists, the governor inspects the hospital's facilities and equipment, receiving briefings on the various departments and the services they are designed to provide.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
From the consultation areas to specialist departments and other critical facilities, the inspection offers the governor a first-hand view of the level of preparation for the commencement of services.
If you look at our intervention in the healthcare sector, it's been quite deliberate, very intentional, from the primary healthcare to the secondary, tertiary, and now maybe quaternary. So we have been very intentional to make sure that our people have access to quality healthcare. So we're quite big on security and healthcare because we know that's what investors would ask you.
Beyond healthcare, the facility is expected to create new economic opportunities from direct employment to the development of specialized skills and supporting businesses within the healthcare value chain.
We were excited about that in terms of job creation. This is going to create quite a whole lot of jobs. And you also know that this is not, again, an accident. If you look at our intervention in the healthcare sector, it's been quite deliberate, very intentional, from the primary healthcare to the secondary, tertiary, and now maybe quaternary. So we have been very intentional to make sure that our people have access to quality healthcare.
The director of the facility, Professor Sam Agu, highlights the range of specialist services expected to be available, with the hospital designed to provide advanced care across multiple medical disciplines.
We have earmarked six specialty centers here. So you start with cancer, and then with cancer services, we are going to provide medical, surgical, and nuclear medicine therapeutics and diagnostics. Okay? Then we're going to have cardiac and vascular center of excellence to do with all heart problems
and open heart surgery, as you may know it.
With more than 300 beds, the Enugu International Hospital is positioned as a comprehensive healthcare facility targeting world-class specialist medical services. Its establishment is also expected to open up opportunities for healthcare professionals, support skills development, and position Enugu State as a destination for medical care. Business news. The Securities and Exchange Commission has directed capital market operators to immediately freeze the funds, assets, and other economic resources belonging to 6 individuals and 3 entities designated as terrorism financiers by the Nigeria Sanctions Committee. The affected individuals include Babangida Hamajam, Abdullahi Usman, Ibrahim Abubakar, Adamu Churuma, Mukhtar Adamu, and Yakubu Ibrahim. The 3 entities are 9-9 BDC Limited, Generation Currency BDC Limited, and Abal Bako and Sons Bureau de Change. According to the SEC, the designations were made under the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. The Commission has also directed operators to report frozen assets, attempted transactions, and suspicious activities to the Nigeria Sanctions Committee and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. The federal government is set to launch a Taxpayer's Bill of Rights and Obligations to strengthen taxpayer protection and improve transparency in Nigeria's tax administration. The chief executive of the Office of the Tax Ombudsman, Dr. John Wabweze, disclosed this at a stakeholder engagement in Abuja, saying the charter will define taxpayers' rights and responsibilities, as well as the standards of the fairness and accountability expected from revenue authorities. The document is expected to improve awareness of taxpayer rights, encourage voluntary compliance, and help prevent disputes. It will be made available through the Tax Ombudsman's digital platforms and other public channels. He adds that the office is also expanding its complaint handling and case management systems to provide taxpayers with easier access to information, assistance, and dispute resolution mechanisms. The solution to Nigeria's food crisis is not just buying more tractors, but training the people to keep them running. And that's the plan of the National Agricultural Development Fund. Speaking at the close-out training for youths across the 6 geopolitical zones, the General Manager Technical at the fund, Mr. Ernest Ihedibo, also says the organization is supporting 109,000 smallholder farmers and training over 1,000 extension agents under other programs.
Days after undergoing training on tractor operations, these Nigerians from across the 6 geopolitical zones are ready to contribute their quota to national development through food security.
You can count on NADF support.
The training is organized by the National Agricultural Development Fund as part of plans to improve food production.
At the successful completion of the National Agricultural Mechanization Service Providers Training Program, a strategic initiative designed to strengthen the skills, technical expertise, and institutional capacity for the advancement of Nigeria's agricultural modernization agenda.
These 250 Nigerians from the 6 geopolitical zones are the first batch of certified agricultural mechanization service providers. They are part of a larger plan to train 4,000 service providers nationwide.
We believe that Nigeria can only prosper if Nigerians have the adequate competencies, adequate skills in order to take their job to the next level. So IPF is very pleased to be here. The dialogue that has been taking place between the National Agricultural Development Fund through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture to ensure that Nigerians are generally trained as you are now is something that should be continued. We want to encourage the National Agricultural Development Fund to continue this dialogue so that Nigerians can have benefit, not just here in Bora, but all over the country.
And the manufacturer of these machines will just come and sell these machines and go away without training these machines cannot be sustainable. So we need much of this training. The service provider wants training, the operator and the mechanic also need this type of training.
For 10 days, the youths were trained on machinery management, safety, and enterprise development. Sarah Achimugu, Channels Television News.
And that's it on the news at 5. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Joke Rogers. Coming up next is The World Today.
Malaria? Again?
I'm beginning to think this malaria is spiritual.
Madam Landlady.